Hey buddy, this is Collin, Mr. Old School Gamer. So, it's Friday and another long week has come to its end. I hope you guys had a good week and I wish you a really great weekend. I thought I started up for you guys with a good double feature of the English Tier 7 Premium Cruiser, the Belfast. I will actually be visiting London next week. I'm gonna go to London on Tuesday and stay through Thursday. So I'm planning on getting the chance to actually visit the Belfast in real life. So hopefully I can give you guys a great video of that occasion in the future. So that is gonna be pretty epic. And I always love visiting London. Me and my wife, we usually go to London every December just to chill out for a bit, a couple of days, and buy some nice Christmas gifts to the kids and to the family as well. So, there been a new patch this week in World of Warships. On December the 1st, the new patch arrived, and with it came some changes to the game. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about those changes. I'm not gonna go into detail about every little thing that came, but I'm gonna try and talk a little bit about the key features. So first off, they split up the Japanese destroyer line into two parallel lines, which should be one line with more concentrated, focused on gunships, and the other line would be more like the traditional line with torpedo boats. Although what I have gathered so far by watching all the reviews from the super testers and the community contributors, it seems like there are some odd placements in those lines. And the destroyer that sticks out the most is the Tier 7 new gunboat line, Shiratsuyu. I'm sorry, Japanese people, if I butcher that name, I probably do, but that is how I figure it should be pronounced. So Shiratsuyu is the Tier 7 gunboat, in quotation marks. But it's a bit funny because, sure, it has some nice, great guns, but it also has some awesome torps. First off, it has two launchers with 4 torps each, which makes it 8 torps max. But then it also has a new function, consumable called torpedo reload, which could be pretty much used like 4 times in a full match if you use the premium version of it. And what this consumable does is that after you launched both your launchers 8 torps, you can just hit this consumable, and that will make the reload of your torps 5 seconds. I say again, 5 seconds reload on the torps. So that means that you can shoot off 8 torps that packs a real punch, has some decent speed to them, and a range of 10 kilometers. And then you punch that consumable, and 5 seconds later you can launch 8 more. which means you can pretty much produce a torp wall out to 10 kilometers of 16 torps. 16 torps. That's one more torp than the tier 10 Shimakaze can produce. Yeah, and this is the gunboat. And the thing is, it actually has some pretty decent guns. Now, I've been able to try it just for a couple of games, and let me tell you, I mean, this ship should probably get the nerf hammer, like, really soon. Because I can't really find any downsides to it. I mean, it has great concealment. I think with concealment expert on your captain, I think you can get it down to like 5.8 or something. Without the captain perk, you have a concealment of 6.5, which isn't that terrible either. And you have pretty decent AA. You have the speed is a bit meh, but I mean, you have speed boost and you have flags you can put on your ship to make it go faster. So I'm not really seeing, first off, this as a gunboat. I mean, it has great concealment. It got a whole lot of torps. I mean, 16 torps. In a tier 7 game, I mean, you can meet tier 5 battleships in this ship. I mean, you're just gonna totally wreck them. I mean, you have the potential to pretty much wreck 3 full health battleships in one salvo. I mean, this is just ridiculous. And like 2-3 minutes later, you can produce another 16 torp salvo. And between those times, you can pretty much wreck anything with the great guns, where you have also pretty decent fire chance on your HE. So, I mean, what's not to love in this ship? I mean, it's just totally insane. And what I have gathered so far, the rest of the lines are not that much to talk about. But I will be covering those in an upcoming video, because I haven't really had the chance to try those ships yet. So I think I'm gonna do like a review of those ships when I get to them. But other than that, there has been quite a lot of changes to the line itself. And they've moved a whole lot of destroyers up and down the tree to different positions. Oh man, look at this poor Ioba. Damn. I'm sorry, buddy. Not much to do there. So another thing they did was they nerfed the lower tier Japanese destroyers, like the Umikaze and the Minikaze. So they have less powerful guns and less powerful torpedoes, which will make one of my favorite ships even stronger, the Kamikaze R, who hasn't been affected of the nerfs. So that is a pretty significant change as well. Although those destroyers were kind of overpowered, and so is the Kamikaze. But since it's a premium, they usually don't really want to nerf those ships. So we are getting assaulted by Atlantas and destroyers. Now fortunately my battleship buddy here is right in between, so it's not so easy for me to deal with the threat. Now this Farragut realizes his mistake, try to smoke up, but it doesn't really help when you're up against the Belfast.
Yeah, baby!
And also they have implemented a new kind of system for missions in the game, which apparently is something they have brought over from World of Tanks, but I never played any other wargaming product, so can't really talk so much about tanks. But the missions look really interesting. There are different kind of missions you can activate for your account. And if you have a normal account, you can have 2 missions active at once. And if you have a premium account, you can have 3 missions active at once. And it's also 2 different kind of mission types. So there is a whole lot of things to choose between. One of the types of missions is for a lower tier of ships. And the other type of missions which actually ends up with you getting a great tier 7 premium destroyer for free. Those are especially for tier 8 to 10 ships. So you can pretty much choose which way you want to go and grind. But whatever you choose, you will be very good rewarded for your effort, which is really great. So this is really interesting, I think. Something that outside of the chance of super containers and all the other rewards from the containers itself will make you really want to push yourself to get your daily dose of warships, because there will be some great loot to pick up on the way. Another new feature in the game is also dynamic divisions. So if you go into a random battle and for some reason you feel like creating a division with some random players, you can do that. You just go to the team panel and then invite to division, which can be a really great feature if you, for instance, see a guy who seems to know what he is doing and want to play the objective like you do, perhaps, and has like a great ship for the battle. Let's say you are a destroyer and you're going for the A-cap and you have a Tago following you. Maybe you've seen that he has been active in the chat, which probably means that he is an active communicator in the game. So now you can division up with that guy, and with that new voice comm function we got a couple of patches ago regarding divisions, now you can start to voice chat with him in that match. And that division is also active after the match. So if you felt that you met some new great players who knew what they were doing, and maybe you want to continue to play with those guys, and that is pretty epic. Good work, Wargaming. Now this battle comes to an end, because this last cruiser is just sailing away, and well, we win of course, so I'm just gonna jump to the end screen. So, Almost 500,000 credits, 6,500 experience, close quarters medal, made number 1 in the match, which is always great. 4 kills, some pretty decent damage, tanked a bit for the team. So, all in all, a pretty good game. Now, let's just jump into the next one. So, this new game, it's me and my mate Finnan, who has a Belfast division on shards. And it's a pretty good matchup. A lot of tier 7s, a tier 6 and also tier 5s. We have 1 destroyer each on each team. And there are still a whole lot of battleships. Now, the latest games I played, there has been like a shift in the matchmaking or the meta, where you can see a whole lot of more destroyers and a whole lot of less battleships. But I guess that is pretty logical, considering the new Japanese destroyer line. Everybody wants to grind those new destroyers. And the last thing I'm gonna mention about the new patch is that super testers and developers are now testing the German destroyer lines. So hopefully that will go well, and they don't have to change too much mechanics in that line. So hopefully maybe we can get those nice German destroyers in the next patch. That would be pretty awesome. So me and my mate is going straight for C. We should try and capture this for the team, since we are low concealment, or rather high concealment cruisers with smokes and of course radar and Hydra as well. We're not really sure where our only destroyer is heading. It seems to go right in between C and B for the moment. But since we are 3 strong cruisers with smoke, we thought that we might just say fuck it and just push right in. Unfortunately, it looks like the majority of the enemy team were thinking about going towards C as well. And I could say that how you see the match develops in this game is pretty much how the match develops in every game on this map. I mean, it's just amazing. The destroyers usually go for C and B, and sometimes it's some random cruiser going with them, trying to help them, while 80% of the team, as you can see on the minimap, is going down to that A cap. And they actually push like the stupid lemming train they are. They push right through that little cap in A and through those narrow, impossible channels in between those islands. And I mean, we're talking about big, huge battleships. So I mean, if I would be that destroyer on the other team, I would just sit on the other side of that A cap and just wait for those lemming training battleships and just torp them to death. But unfortunately for him, he gets taken out quite fast. But I'm just amazed about this lemming train mentality Because you see this pretty much in every game. If you're on the red team, you go towards the C cap, where the red team is heading in this match. And if you're on our team, the green team, you usually try and cap this C cap fast. Usually the red team takes it over after a few minutes. And as I said, the majority of the green team always pushes, like our green team is doing right now, straight through A, even though it's like a death trap for battleships. They just go right through there. So, me and my mates here in C, actually the Emerald is taken out, and it's only me and Finnen left. We have taken the base, and we are pretty efficient in keeping the red team at bay. We're just spamming that HE power against the battleships and the cruisers, trying to get them to understand that it's a bad idea to try and push in. And we also try to alter using our smokes and using our Hydra and radar, so we don't use them simultaneously, me and Finnen, which is a really efficient way to play if you have a 2-man or 3-man Belfast division. Then you can really secure a huge part of the map just with the 2 ships, because these ships are so goddamn powerful. So I'm just now trying to back out without getting killed, pretty much, because the enemy fleet, since the majority of their fleet is here at sea, they are still pushing, and now they are starting to push around our flanks, which makes it really dangerous for us to stay where we've been in the cap. So we're just trying to slowly move out of the cap. Hopefully we have scared them off enough so they won't push in to try and take the cap anytime soon. And well, we pretty much need to try and fall back a bit, because the Belfast has pretty decent range for its tier, and when you're between smokes, it's really that range that you need to use as much as possible. Now there's a enemy York pushing in, and of course we need to try to get him to think about other things. Trying to discourage him a bit. Everything is about delaying the shift in the caps. And this is something that just amazes me every day I play, that so few people think about the objective. I mean, I've been spending the entire day today just playing high tier games, trying to get the last wins for the Takyo mission, the new ARP Atago cruiser. And I mean, it's just so hard because people don't understand. You need those caps. You can't just sail around. I mean, look at our team now. It's me and Finnen and another Warspite up here in the north, trying to protect this whole section of the map, pretty much between the B cap and the C cap. Meanwhile, the rest of our team just sails around like nothing is going on, sailing straight south, away from all the caps. And I mean, this is the typical behavior you see in this kind of map all the time. I mean, where are they going? It's like, are there 5 or 6 ships chasing one ship? And they just follow him down south. And I mean, if you look at the numbers, we are behind in points, we are behind in ships. The only advantage we have right now is the caps, and soon we're gonna lose that as well, because we need to leave C, because otherwise we three will all be dead. So the enemy is gonna take C. You can see ships are already entering C. So our only chance pretty much right now is to try and go in and capture B without getting killed. And of course with zero backup, because all our ships are still like camping around A or sailing south. Look at those 3 ships following that 1 ship south. I mean, how much do they contribute to the team in this match? Sure, maybe they managed to kill that 1 ship. But is that gonna save us if we lose the caps? Nope. So, we are trying to play like tag team, me and Finnan. We pretty much do like a standard retrieval movements from the military. That one stays in smokes and fire at the enemy. Meanwhile, the other one fall back to a safe position, and then he activates smoke and starts shooting, and then it's my turn to like run back, fall back. In Swedish we call it växelvis, falling back. So we are just trying to delay the enemy push here as much as we can. But we really need that B cap, because soon we are gonna be losing in a really big way. Because now they have a pretty huge advantage. Now, hallelujah, the 3 ships in the south actually start to moving north. But I mean, those are slow movers. They're gonna take them a good while. Meanwhile, 2 cruisers and a warspite is trying to pretty much delay the entire enemy fleet. And, well, I just can't, I feel like I can't talk about this enough, because it just annoys the shit out of me on a daily basis in this game. That people just are totally oblivious to what you need to do to win a game. And I mean, it's not that hard, it's not like brain surgery. It pretty much tells you on the preload screen what the game mode is about. And still, they like just sail around the map, lemming around. Are you lucky? Maybe it's the enemy team that acts this way, as you've seen in a lot of my other videos. In the latest video I uploaded was a pretty good example of the enemy team just totally brain farting, lemming around, losing the match. Even though they had a ship advantage. So, yeah, we're just trying to do our best here. I'm trying to ask what the ships down south is actually doing. I mean, we have one battleship that looks like he has grounded himself between 2 huge islands, and, well, there's another one grounding right now. And the others are sailing west for some reason. They should push north to help us out, but hey. So we're just continuing trying to communicate, me and Finnan. I couldn't have that in the video because we are talking Swedish the entire time. But we had some pretty hectic conversations in the voice chat about what we should do to try and get into this B cap to save the team. And also what the hell the friendly team was thinking and doing. And the thing is, when you're totally surrounded like we are here, you really need to be careful in the Belfast, because you are a paper ship, and if you show the broadside to the wrong ship, he will delete you in an instance. I earned the Confederate here. Trying to go for the Arsonist as well, trying to set all those fires. I did pretty good damage so far. I'm over 100,000 damage. Now I get radared by this York, or Hydra. But he gets taken out. So I switch to the Bayern instead, and here comes the York's torpedoes. So I'm just trying to move inside my smoke as long as it lasts. Now the B cap is starting to clear up, but it's not really safe to just push in. Now he's giving me quite some broadside, so I'm switching to armor piercing, of course. Now he started to angle, so I switched to HE again because I want those fires burning on him. But as you saw before, you can have pretty good salvos with armor piercing on the battleships. I think 4,000 or 5,000 per salvo is the max I have gotten so far. Now one of the enemy players who are dead actually starts to cry in chat that what's the point of them fighting since we have tier 7s? And I mean, it's equal matchmaking, so you have just the same amount of tier 7s as we do. So yeah. And they had like the advantage the entire game. And of course now when pretty much me, Finnen, and this Warspite who helped us has started to change the outcome. Now he starts to cry about bad tier ships in his team. Yeah. So we have one cruiser pushing into the cap. So we just try to support him as much as possible by drawing the battleship's fire towards us instead of him. The problem is that we have one enemy battleship south of B, and I'm not really sure who he's engaging right now, and I don't really have the possibility to engage him because he's behind a whole lot of islands. So I'm just hoping that our cruiser buddy in B survives. Hopefully he's an English cruiser with smoke or something, or good concealment. So now it's time to start moving again. I earn high caliber. I have 17 fires so far. So we just try to head slightly away from those two battleships in the north, because you can't really get too close. As you see, they score some hits on me, even though I am a bit far away. So you really need to use that range in the Belfast. So now he's really low on health and also broadside, so of course I'm switching to armor piercing.
Oh, behave. Yeah.
So I managed to get the Arsonist in the end as well. And now the match finally ends. And we managed to turn it around in the end, fortunately. I do really need to thank my buddy Finnen. We could never have turned around this match if it wasn't for him. And also that Warspite who stuck in and helped us out in the topper half of the match. But, well, I just need to say it again, guys. Please stop having those brain fart moments. Look at the fucking minimap. Stop lemming training like idiots. But this has been a long video. I hope you liked it. Please leave a like and a comment below, and I see you guys in the next one. Have a good weekend. I love you guys. Bye bye.
When you finally got a hold of it, it's all over. Those 5 last years of hell